and welcome to Grandad Reviews. So what I thought I'd do, just for a bit of a laugh, is compare the Canon R8, which I'm pointing at now, in C-Log3 against the Canon R50, which I'm pointing at now, in HDR-PQ. So they're both shooting in 10-bit 422, but one's in C-Log, one's in HDR-PQ. Now I've took some shots outside, not very scientific, just had a general walk around as far as I could walk. I'm still struggling to walk at the moment, but just a little, just outside in the courtyard, and we just took some shots. The images I've took outside, or the video I've took outside, has been shot on the Canon 24-105. All the settings are the same: ISO 800, f4, 1/50th, 25 frames per second. Just used a variable ND to get the exposure about right. And that's all been shot. And now I just thought I'd do a bit of a talking head. We'll do this bit here. But the lenses have changed, so we'll just, I don't think that'll make a lot of difference, but I've got the 18-45 on the R50, and I've got the 28-85 USM on the R8, just because that's what I got. So we'll see how that looks. We'll then look in the computer, see what the differences are, and you can make your minds up if there's a huge difference. Does it make a lot of difference to have C-Log against HDR-PQ? We will have a look, and I'll give my conclusion after we've all had a good look at the raw footage out, well, the footage from the camera. Then we'll do a bit of grading and see if we can make them roughly the same, see how far we can push them, and we'll just see what we get. So let's get these video clips into the computer, and then we'll come to a conclusion. Right, so we've gone through the video, and now we're just looking at the actual timeline in DaVinci Resolve, and just really looking at the differences, if any at all. Now I want to show you how I've got DaVinci Resolve set up so you can see how it's working. So in the main project settings, the colour space we've got it as DaVinci Resolve Colour Managed Custom. I've got it at input colour space is 709 gamma 2.4 with our output at 2.4 gamma rec 709 gamma 2.4 as well, even though these are not. So if we look at the actual footage, C-Log, I've done proxies, by the way, that's why it says proxies. What I've done is change the input colour space on the C-Log to Canon Cinema Gamut C-Log3, which is what we've got. And then the HDR-PQs, got that set to Rec 2100 ST2084, which is what Canon recommend. So if I didn't have that, that would look like so. Then with the colour management, that's the C-Log, PQ, so this is the HQ without the colour management input colour space added to it, and then with we get that. And if we're looking at the actual footage, there's not a lot in it once we've got the colour management on. Might be a little bit, could just be the lens giving us a slight different in the exposure on that section. If then we go along to here, this is straight out the camera, so there's no adjustments in the colour page at all. So this is exactly as it comes through. So these clips haven't been graded or anything done to them at all. They're just as they came out the camera, just with the colour management put on. So it's changed it from C-Log3, same as that. We've just, and to be honest, the only problem was the light was changing so quickly that the only thing I found was that the PQ, HDR-PQ, is a little bit warmer than the C-Log, even though the colour balance was set to 5600 daylight, just slightly warmer, as you can see there. But not a lot in it. And then all we did was a very quick tweak in the colour page, didn't do much to it at all. And if we just on the C-Log, if we go into the colour page, gain's changed a bit. So if I just, I've gone from that to that, so just added a bit of contrast, gain, and the lift. And the HD-PQ exactly the same. We'll just disable that node. So yeah, we'll just change the lift and the gain just to get a bit of contrast, and added a bit of contrast anyway, just to make it look a bit not so flat, because it does come out very flat. So I say, like in here, if we just see how flat, but we can bring those highlights down if I wanted to. The highlight section. So we can always bring those highlights back in quite easily on that section there. But yeah, to be honest, there's not a huge difference in it. You can adjust both about the same. No real glaring difference between the two. I would say you've got a little bit more highlight recovery in C-Log than the HDR-PQ, but it's not major. Certainly when you go in controlled environment, then there's nothing in it really. Slight difference in colour, but that could be the lens. But if you didn't see both side by side, you wouldn't really see the difference, would you? So, in conclusion, which is better? I'm not going to say either, to be honest. You haven't got C-Log3 in the R50, so yes, you'd have to use the HDR-PQ, but you've got both in the R8, and personally I would use C-Log3 for if you're going to do more colour grading and more manipulation in your editing software. But if you just wanted something you could quickly turn around, then I'd probably use HDR-PQ. But either one will work fine. So that's a look at what we did in DaVinci Resolve. Now I've set it up. So there you go. We've had a quick look at the difference between C-Log3 in the R8 and the HDR-PQ in the R50. And in all intents and purposes, there's not a great deal in it. If you want some footage that you're going to manipulate a bit more in your editing software, if you want to colour grade or you want to pull the highlights down, then using either will work. And obviously on the R50, as I said, you've only got HDR-PQ, so I'd use it. You know, you're getting the best out of the camera. Whereas on the R8, you're going to have to really just try them both and see which you prefer. I'm going to stick with the C-Log3. But if you just want something straight out of camera, you don't want to do anything to honestly, then don't pick either. Just you pick a actual profile, either your standard or natural or whatever you want out of the camera, and just shoot without C-Log3 or HDR-PQ, and then you've got it straight out of camera. Obviously you won't be able to adjust it all, but if you don't want to adjust anything, you just want it as it is and it's good enough for you, especially for Instagram, Facebook, something like that, it doesn't really matter, then I would just do that. Because the C-Log3, you've got to edit it. You've got to do something with it. You're either going to put a LUT on it or you're going to colour grade it in your software. And the same with the HDR-PQ. It doesn't need as much, but you've still got to do something with it. So really the choice is yours, try them all. But as I say, side by side, it doesn't look a huge difference until you come to pushing and pulling the editing. But other than that, you're not. I don't think you're losing as much as you think not having C-Log3 in the R50. It's still a wonderful camera. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. That helps the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, see you later.